This is Chariot.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Baby, our Chariot TV, if you know, Yamau Akwaba, Eba, Ene, Jumedi, Eso, Ene, Enkoma, Eba Bedino, Enkoma, Estronko. Now, when first episode, the share program, Bible Answers, say, ye bow and chain, ye di home, Komo Kacho, Bibia, say, ye share Bible Answers, I say, so all questions be o the bar, Yajiba, Edimre, ne be Bible mu, no, into the saa dwumadi we say so no ye can say, do you have Bible questions? The Bible has the answers for you. Enti onuadofo say ene na dey di kan ababehwe saa dwumadi we say we Chariot TV Bible Answers dwumadi na wuguso a wo hwe no na enya me nkwa na medi dwuma we say ene me wo preacher Jonathan Mensah Bonsu wo me nchen a one me edi saa dwumadi pacho akwaba
Yenya na pome
onyankopɔ andaro ma me ho ye pa na wo so
Mensumo ye.
Yo, yeah, the Yankopɔ ase. We dey yen say brekra, ye hwɛ topic a edapono so and a question a onua baako e de baaye. De na asɛm a obisa no ejina Matthew 5 verse 17 to verse 18. Na answer na mekɔ no, ma men card of for say ye nua yi no, or the question for WhatsApp. Enti mesrew say also pese ye yi question bia no question bi a kyerɛ wadwen a. O de fa WhatsApp a yebeje na ye no edi nkomo I think it will be very prudent by the time dwumedie no enko anim kakra no me the number no ebetu dwa ma adofo se na be ya won so pese wo send question eba Chariot TV honum na o question na be ba no ye jebredi hu nkomo a obetumi aye ne sa. The aim is to answer almost every question that we can think of in religion, in Christianity na aboaye but answer na no Brother Jonathan. Yeah, say be passage na all canon mekan kakra me wia na waboaye ama yedi mu ehun enkomo.
Yeah.
All right. Passage no enie Matthew 5 verse number 17. There ehon kan enie. Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy but to fulfill. Verse 18. For assuredly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled. Enti ye nua question no aha na efi na sa passage no amafo bebre so ebisa ho asem. Enti message say afei na wo join and wa share amafoforo wo be join so a wo betimi do comment about a live program into the comments ne ba ye betimi read comments ne out e bia ye kire mu wie no bibia nhye da nto yi ama 2% ye timu bioma wo de to comment section wa ye no be e bedin sa wo so na afei so wo man hu bebi a wo hwe free a ebo ma djumedie no eye nkoso kai se obe share ama afoforo na enkomo ya ye ba bedi ya no ye brother Jonathan Mensah Bonsu owo podcaster waye e wo sa djumedie we sei ehun timesre se onso se opese uja ojebre na utie even a detailed explanation of the Ebabekana oko Bible Radio ewo Spotify ewo Apple Google Play Music and I think say Apple they number for Apple Music, right?
Yeah, Apple Music and
yes, Apple Music.
Quite a number of platforms. I'm yet to check Podbean. I'm yet to check Podbean, but it's on I think iTunes as well. It's on iTunes and
okay.
Other podcast applications. Yeah.
Okay. Enti say yeda ase sanity enti say san komo eba bedi no enye komo we say nkwan any different topics are me bra Jonathan wodi hu komo Bible Radio, exegesis of John 3:16, born again, what does it mean, the issue of head covering, what must I do to be saved, Hebrew cosmogony, faith is essential but not adequate. Waiting komo bebre and I'll be on Yebra Jonathan the podcaster so called Bible Radio. Eti we there yanko Bible passage adapt no so a ye di ho nkomo. Matthew 5 verse number 17. Pacho betimi aboa nkaka.
Yeah. So as you already pointed, it's one of the popular passages in the Bible. Maybe perhaps after John 3:16, to my estimation. So if John 3:16 is if you are one of the passages that people, it will fall within maybe the first 10 list of passages that is often quoted by people. Say yes to Christo by no wama me say emra and I d for name oba ebeshenema. First of all, yeah, establish a context, because a context see Bible no Bible is here for me say a text out of its context is always a pretext. A text out of its context is always a pretext. So yeah, establishing the context. The context of Matthew 5 verse number 17, and it said Jesus was discussing the Sermon on the Mount. Most people sometimes don't even know that Matthew 5 verse number 17 is the Sermon on the Mount as some Anna Jesus Christ to Eka. So to start it, you put it that ground, that background, clearly. Say Jesus Christ on a Sermon on the Mount, abra o preachy or call it out multitude be gather and hona or shall say teaching. Or cast so many things, deliver the beatitude, the friend beatitude, blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are or can't that beatitude, Then he went up to the Matthew chapter 5 verse number 17 and who 7. I dare to see me know special ocean and so say modern translations have not helped with this translation, this understanding.
Okay. Say now saying new translation of Bible banana.
Yes. So open with me, Matthew chapter 5 verse number 17.
Okay,
now,
Matthew 5
verse 17. They show a lot of translation, all translations. I think what
okay. Pacho obetimi make a comment na in temper me fa na into screen.
Okay. So the comment is say most Bible translations, have not done as good with the translation. It contradict a certain passage in the Bible with how they have translated the verse.
Okay.
See, you quoted from I think in New King James Version. So we read it from a version like New International Version, one of the popular Bible translations in the world, that New International Version. It reads like, "I do not came to abolish the law or the prophets. I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill." That is what is in NIV. In Phillips translation, the same thing. In New American Standard Bible, so the same thing. NLT, New Living Translation, so the same thing. And even Revised Standard Version as well, the same kind of rendition. My point is say if that text is rendered,
yes,
let's look at her. Look at the NIV. I think the NIV is the one you are showing first.
Yes.
Do not think that I have come to abolish the law. You see, instead of abolish, destroy, as in the King James or New King James, New International Version translated abolish. When New Living, so what? I mean New Living, but New Living look at the English and ESV, or say, do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophet. Or King James, King James, also translation, how King James was saying, think not that I came to destroy. So King James used the word destroy, but other translations are using, some translations are using the word abolish. New King James use destroy. Cut down. New American Standard Bible also, so how they translate the word. Or say, do not presume that I came to abolish the law. Or yes, you see abolish. So if the translation is abolish, then it is in direct contradiction with Ephesians chapter 2, verse number 15.
Okay, Ephesians chapter 2,
verse 15. Ephesians 2, verse number 15. So if Matthew chapter 5, verse number 17 is saying that I did not come to abolish, then it is in direct contradiction with Ephesians chapter 2, verse number
15 in Sunye.
Yes.
I say, having abolished his flesh, the enmity, that is the law of commandments contained in ordinances so as to create in himself one new man from the two, thus making peace.
Good. So on one breath, in Matthew, Jesus is saying that I did not come to abolish, as recent translations are putting it. But in the other breath, Paul is saying that Jesus Christ abolished in his flesh the enmity. That is, then he explained the enmity. He's saying that the enmity that he abolished is the law of commandment contained therein. So what is the matrix here? The translation of the word and Mamin Kana and your function and so say the word abolish here is not the same word that is in Matthew chapter 5, verse number 17. There are two different words. There are two different words. Matthew Ephesians chapter 5, Ephesians chapter 2, verse number 15. The word abolish there is coming from the word that means katageu. It's from the word katageu.
Okay, Matthew 5.
Matthew 5 now, and you see a catalu.
Pacho, screen on.
Yeah, I can see your screen. I can see your screen. Oh, yeah, showing. Matthew 5 is the word catalu.
Yeah.
Wait, interlinear now we use, or the above down say the literal meaning is to abolish. Look at the down, baby out here.
Yes.
Good. Or see the literal meaning abolish. The reason why I'm saying that before that, the red line, you see that? Good. The reason why I'm saying that translating it abolish gives a problem. And it says, you see, the word, there's another word in Matthew 5, verse number 17. Oko down kakra, or say fulfill.
Fulfill.
Good. Fulfill, antithesis is the word abolish. In other words, the bria body, the bria body, good. The bria body, the fulfill, the bria body, the word that we are talking about. So it's not be translated abolish. Of course, in some texts or in some contexts, it makes sense, but not in this context. In this context, the King James is having it right. And I believe with all what I know, the King James in Matthew chapter 5, verse number 17 is having it right. The New King James is having it right. And some other ASV is having it right by saying that I did not come to destroy. They were clear on that. They said, I did not come to destroy.
Yeah.
No, yes, but they didn't say I did not come to abolish. And that makes sense. Fine. So that is the first thing I think that we should put it across in I should forward to me at on that. I don't know whether you have a comment on
that. A lot of things now are on packages here, and we can see even from some of the translations, they say yes, they still kept abolish, they still kept a bit more destroy, but they rather use abolish throughout. And it's good you my say fulfill no any abolish no echo together. It is a one any destroy no echo together. It's a one interpreting here and I say one translating here sometimes a bit the confusion.
Yeah, my point is that, for instance, if you go to I think I left my my lexicon. I wanted to bring it, but I left it where I normally keep it. So far lexicon. Now we open to the pages. Now compare the word destroy, and I say compare the word abolisher. Yes, sometimes the word that is Matthew chapter 5 for no, sometimes that word nuances, and I say in some passages, it is translated like that. So it's perfect. Say we'll be translating to say abolish or translating to destroy. But my point is say the word fulfill has to be the opposite of the word and how I say translating. And in the context, it doesn't allow that to translate it abolish. If you do that, you harm Ephesians chapter 2, verse number 15, and that will give you a problem. Interestingly, I was checking on the internet now, make skeptics comment on pass about the Bible, and the skeptic listed one of this. They listed Ephesians 2:15 and Matthew chapter 5, verse number 17 as the contradictory passage in the Bible, and it's coming because of translation. It's not coming because of the word of God at all. And see, that is the first thing I think that the person I should fortune and so. The second thing worth noting.
Answer now better us no. Mamin kai adofo say we join in na say ye ka bibi na ntiase ne mu nda. Obetimi de comment no at comment section ni ye beje bre na yɛdi ho nkɔmmɔ afei nso sɛ wohwɛ nko a deɛ abɔ mmɔden ahyɛ ma afoforɔ ɛhu sɛ adɔfoɔ aba so nti yɛ a yɛaba so sɛ yɛn nyinaa yɛhyɛ ma afoforɔ na yɛ subscribe to Chariot TV a ɛbɛbɔ ma dwumadie no akɔ so wowɔ kwɛse fa bra baabi a wohwɛ nso wobɛtumi ama yɛhu ɛbɛtumi ahwɛ the next thing a ɛwɔ hɔ nom no.
The next thing I think we need to highlight if you can read the passage again.
Okay. Yɛhwɛ passage no ebie 5 we mako bie 5 Ephesians rather mame bie Matthew 5. Okay.
The next thing is the phrase law and prophet. I think
yes,
if you can read it, no, I think now yeah. If you can read it again.
Yes, do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Good. So Jesus is saying that do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. The first question we ask ourselves, what is that? And
that is one of the main questions. Law and prophets na
okay, fine. So today we have the 39 books in our Old Testament.
Yes.
Categorized into 4 categories. Today, I mean, our Bibles. We have law, Emrahuma. That is from Genesis to Deuteronomy. That is the first 5 books. Then your book of history, Abakosam Homa. That is from the book of Joshua, Eba, Bedu, the last Chronicles, Eba Chronicles, Eba Honina. Then we have, I think Esther, there are 12 books also. There are 12 books in the book of history.
12
then
books.
The next category, writings. Writings has to do with
the prophets.
Psalms, the
okay.
Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon. I think the book of Job. Yeah. So the five books of writings.
They are called prophets.
Yes. Then the next one they go to the prophets, like from Isaiah to Malachi. 17 books of the prophets. So we in our categorization, your Bible, law, history, prophets, and writings, and I say poetry. Good. But in the Hebrew canon or in the Hebrew writings, Hebrew from Bible na omo nchemu ahodo miensa. Omo Torah, ana omo Navim, ana omo Ketubim.
Yes.
Good. So Hebrew for omo acronym bi omo can say Tanakh.
Yeah.
Tanakh. Say I don't know whether you have heard of it before.
Actually, I have a copy of the Hebrew scriptures. Specific divisions, New Testament,
So they call it Tanakh. Tanakh is Tanakh.
Yes.
Tanakh. That means that T near Torah no, ana Nabim near NA no, ana Ketubim no AKH no. So they categorize the Bible in that sense, that the law, the prophets, and the writings. And we can see that in Luke chapter 24. Then Luke 24.
Chapter 24. Okay.
Yes. Verse number 44.
Luke chapter
24. Yes. Verse number 44.
Verse 44.
Yeah.
Okay. Pacho.
Yes.
Then he said to them, these are the words which I spoke to you while I was with you, that all things must be fulfilled which were written in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms concerning me.
So in Jesus' time, talking about the Old Testament passage books, now scriptures, we categorize them into the law, the prophets, and the writings. Common. And in some cases, they call it, they leave the writings out. They sometimes can say the law and the prophets, the law, the prophet. And it happens a lot of times in the new Bible. And you will see that they are talking about the Old Testament scriptures. Look at this passage, John 1, verse number 45.
John 1, verse 45.
Yeah.
Okay. John 1.
Yes.
Verse 45. Essay. Then Philip found Nathanael and said to him, "We have found him of whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph."
So this is a two categorization now. So they normally say the law, the prophet, and the writings, but sometimes, and in some cases too, they say the law and the prophet, referring to the Old Testament scriptures. And you have saying, look at Luke chapter 16, verse number 16.
Luke chapter 16,
verse 16.
Number 16. Okay. Yeah. Luke 16. Oh, Kafra. About 164. Verse
number 16.
Luke chapter 16, verse
16. Luke 16.
Okay. Sorry. Chapter 16, they say, the law and the prophets were until John.
You see,
since that time, the kingdom of God.
See, the law and the prophets. The law and the prophets. That is the idea.
Yeah.
The law and the prophets. So in Jew, when they say law and the prophet, they are talking about Old Testament scripture, Hebrew scripture. I don't know what Let's take the last one. Look at Acts chapter 13. Acts chapter 13.
Acts chapter 13.
Yes.
Verse number
15. 1-5.
Acts 13, verse number 15. Essay. And after the reading of the law and the prophets, the rulers of the synagogue.
Just hold on small. Now, the context of what is happening here. You remember Paul and Opichi. So he got to this Galatian region or Asia Minor, that area. Then he went to one of the synagogue. In his first, I think this is his first missionary journey. He went to one of the synagogue, and you see the Jews had a daily reading schedule, like the Old Testament. Until Sunday, Saturday, they know that you read this passage. Now we have books and apps which generate daily Bible reading. Today we do not Bible app now verse kind of. They had a schedule like that where they meet in the synagogue to read passages from the Old Testament scriptures. And when they meet, they read from the law and they read from the prophets. So in that day, yes, of course, Paul have attended. Remember in Luke chapter 4, Jesus, so when he went to the synagogue, he was called to read. Yes. Remember when he opened, he found that day, they were supposed to read Isaiah 62, and he found the exact passage that he was supposed to read, and he read to the people. The same thing is happening in Acts chapter 13, verse number 15. When Paul got there, they read the law, they read the prophets. That means that they read a portion in the Old Testament law of Moses, and they read a portion in the prophets. So the law and the prophets, as we find out, Matthew chapter 5, verse number 17, clearly stands for the Old Testament scriptures.
Okay.
The Old Testament scriptures. So when Jesus said, "I did not come to destroy the law and the prophet," what he's saying is this: I did not come to destroy the Old Testament scriptures.
Oh. In teacher said, the law and the prophets no ejina homa apam dadano.
Yes, apam that. Okay, apam dadano. Technically, is incorrect in this sense.
Okay.
See, apam is not paper. If I should make it clear. Yes. Yes, technically, of course, I understand what you are saying, but technically, it's a bit different in the sense of apam is broader than paper. The paper is where the conditions of the covenant is found, or the conditions are codified. But the law, the covenant itself is not the paper or the book that contained the laws. So the law and the prophets were the scriptures of the old covenant. Good. That is a better way of saying
that. Yes, that puts it right.
The scriptures of
and woman use
as good. Upon that, no, a better way of putting it in a bear. It avoids ambiguity. Is that it's the Old Testament scripture. So Jesus is saying that I did not come to destroy the law and the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. He meant that I did not come to destroy the Old Testament scriptures.
Okay.
That is what he means. He did not come to, and truly, that's the point. He didn't come to just throw away the Old Testament scriptures. First of all, he was living under the law. Galatians 4:4, we can't read that, but he abandoned. It's clear that Jesus Christ was born under the law. So when he came,
under the law.
Yes, he came to fulfill the law. Fulfill in what sense? Well, fulfill means to bring something to its logical conclusion. That's a good way of saying it. To bring something to its logical conclusion. What actually that thing or its intended purpose. Another way of saying it. To bring something to its intended purpose. That is what Jesus is saying. So when Jesus came on earth, and he said he came so that he came to obey it perfectly. So in fact, Jesus typified the Old Testament scriptures. Oba believe you can't apamda danoa. Then I was said Nakopon free unipa. Jesus came to live it to the fullest. Oba said this is what God meant when he gave the Old Testament. Say no the unipa the brafa. You see, let me give you some funny thing happened not long ago. Long ago, now near your class annual exams. But this exams was an open test.
Okay.
Open test. Yes, you bring your notebook to the exam hall. Then you write the exams. And the reason why I lecture, I don't know why the open test now, but I said the question was very difficult. So we went there. In fact, when can't proud to preparation, it's an open test. We went there. The best one catch is no, it's an open test, so you can bring your notes. See, you call for a notebook. You call for a notebook, no? But the question was that you can't use internet, so forget about laptop and stuff. Just come in the notebook. What's the class? Notes now, in Fabra.
Notes, boys, in Troy.
We answer, I show notes, so we picked the script to look at. Over script knows now. It's difficult to find answers, but and it's time bound. Time with the home.
Yes.
Already for some time. I know the time aso. Inti obeji person. I know the essence of my time kaka. No, so okay, fine. I know hey, you know, catch and say, why are you worrying yourself with the notebook when I am here? Perfect. See, me, I am more than the book you are holding. In other words, so any question you have, don't bother trying to ask in the notebook.
Yes.
Looking pages, ask me. And exactly that, when I think about it, it's exactly what Jesus came to do on it. He came to lead the Old Testament to its best. He came to let us see how the Old Testament should be lived.
Yeah.
And that is what he's saying. Good, exactly. So he came to lead the Old Testament. He came to lead the law and the prophet to its logical conclusion. How so? How he will look like is Jesus. Is Jesus exactly like Jesus? Now I don't know. Obaya or the only do Pharisee for no na imagine on say, well, Emrano omu disune the day na Omakan Emrano wapam that day no imagine on so omubum konta mu no is around 613 and Oma ade adibia keka ho ama mrani mu din omachichira swan konfo ne ade Jesus ni on kasa. Jesus told them that if really someone is living the law, if someone is obeying the law and the prophet, then it's me. Because I came to fulfill it. You remember in Matthew chapter 3, Tama Yesu Christo John Ebonesu. John he told John resisted. Say, "Remember, I'll come back." Matthew 3. And I used to say, no.
My
whole kwansa. Na sa na was said 3 nyina dey Emma.
Yes.
It might Sunny said 3 nyina. The point is this: Jesus came that at the Old Testament ne ka ho asem nyoma apam na da ne ka na say the Nyankopon person nipa ye no ono no ba be ye bi e. So he won't come and say, well, me Nyankopon ba. Therefore, me the Nyankopon aka no me papa na aka nti me mfa ho menye. No, he came to do it. So he told John that no, suffer it now, for thus it becometh just as to fulfill all righteousness. So her text in the that is what Jesus Christ is teaching here in Matthew chapter 5, verse number 17. He did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. But see, let me be quick to say this: that most people are go to Matthew chapter 5, verse number 17. No? They are not quick to add verse number 18. You see, Matthew.
Who said fulfill now? Me say ubom kakama say. Good. Say yes, Christo Bob fulfill law no. One explanation back on my say Jesus is that an embodiment of how somebody should actually be. So dimrano soa.
Exactly.
And nutina or correct for us see this to see for no mrano send an was say
yes.
Now but your way super hand say what prophets nimuno this nimuno. Who say no ashisha combines for Jesus one Jesus babe.
Yes, they are all
say for failure. I know say
they are all included. So okay to not so when you limit it to and some are do for the kafan on kwan obey, then you have limited idea have text maker. Of course, it's part of it. They are all found in the Old Testament. They are all found that the Old Testament said that well yes no obey obi obey senchene upon that and can say yes no obey obi obey kasa be buomu. So he came to lead those things. That is true. As you already pointed it, it's part of the fulfillment that he came to do.
Okay.
So to be good. So in fact, Nyankopon did the by to show us how the Old Testament really looked like. So he came to lead the Old Testament. He came to leave it. But my point about what I made before we went back to that. You see, those people who quote this passage in Matthew chapter 5 verse
17.
They are quick to quote verse 17 and leave verse 19 and verse 18 and 19 there.
Wait there, Mami Fanka one sana ebia obeto aso a question e buy no I think said basis said the buy no every yenuanum ma omo som memenda Saturday Sabbath som.
Yes.
Na explanation ba ko man say yes Christo buy no wa ma mesembra in the sense say homeda som say yen kwa asore ne yen som Nyankopon sa ada no etwa say oyo Christo ni a wo som Nyankopon ye sa memenda no sa wan som Nyankopon sa memenda na wati wafum ena etwa say wo ye ne say de Nyankopon o hyema Israel for say kai homeda na ne konkron no sa na samra no etie enti ebia say emre be ma memo aboa e kaka wo 10 commandments say so and ebi so betim dey addition for say eno no etwa say Christopher di echi be say question we no nyina so no me gidi say eho no na ebobo free na.
Yeah, and that's exactly true. Most cases that's where it's coming from. And a quick one on homeda for no say they are quick to say that well see di homeda no so kan homeda na konkon to say na Nyankopon kan no, but they are forgotten that kan homeda na konkon does not mean Saturday.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that. Nyankopon kan Exodus chapter 20, verse number 8. Eka say, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. No, he didn't include. There is nothing in the context. There is nothing in the text that suggested that go to church. There is nothing of that sort there. Indeed, Old Testament dinumukwa ade a Nyankopon ka say yenema homeda ne konkono. These people they do.
Menya sure some here.
Mami chiro mami ma obako. Homeda duru ni kwan say we adwuma.
Ai. And you must so munye.
Untimi nka say well me nya adwuma but me was store but me be store no mama makoa bi
oh and you mo say mama banko tell na me de me nye
and nya ne me onko abu okwanya ne ba ebi wafa obi ba wafa workers untimi nka say wo bie wo shop and wo bie adwuma workers enko ba wo momu de wo ko ehomeda no asa close adwuma no the work itself has to be stopped. Aside that no you see homeda ye konkon ye no nya onko na odi o omo okrom omo awo ofie mu all those people have to be stopped from working. Omwampo everything. Aside that you can also kindle fire. Untimi soldier oh gina bia.
Maybe me so heater say yes.
Well, the last time I checked with a friend of mine talking about how the Jews of this day and how they live. You see, they have heaters and stuff like that in their houses and things like that. They really strive not to do candle fire. On way come on the money and said almost saw light, some light the light no Friday around 4 o'clock. And you make 4 o'clock because you're supposed to prepare 6 o'clock on your juma, not Sabbath night 8 key effect. So best light next so 4 o'clock on fan and sanka in the next 1 year juma. So light ni besi so sa betwam. In so best idea obey journey 4 o'clock. Say na 6 no aja we in self. And then homeda I mean no not that. They should even go to Jerusalem and try and see how these people are trying to live there. But my point is that is the Old Testament. How they were told to do it is there.
Yeah.
But Jesus is not saying that he is coming to add to the Old Testament law. That's not the point. But that doesn't even make sense. How can you have 2 testaments that is 2 of them are in operation at the same time? It can be
possible.
It's not possible. It's not. It can be. It doesn't make. There's no meaning to it. So Jesus, as someone what can I say? He didn't come to destroy it. Let's say. Or by say most Mrana different or by no, no, he came to leave it. That it had a purpose or botayebi or the botayani baby. Now let's go to verse number 18.
Verse 18, no, say. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
Let me point something out. What's the first word in verse number 18?
For
in English. It's coming from the Greek word ga. That means that he's offering reason. In the some kind of verse number 17. I say, Oma Dientia or Casa say, my master may be same running a for or my master may be saying, or why he's saying that. That is in verse number 18. So verse number 18 say, Dientia make us and say, that is the word, ga, good. Good. That conjunction, ga. Yes. So verse number 18 is telling us that be everything in the Old Testament, even the small detail like the comma, something like a comma, the jot,
iota,
small scriber, good, small markings like French of maybe ascent green, ascent grave on this animal. So French, no.
And yet, it may have a horse and
good. Those markings, on the west, Jesus said, "But who can you be free?
Yeah,
till all is fulfilled. Till all is fulfilled." The point is that say yes, then it can be inactive. It can be done away. It can go off. That is the point. It can be inactive, and Jesus said that till the law is fulfilled, till all is fulfilled, it cannot be done away. So he came to fulfill it. So the question now, I also when I say, did Jesus Christ fulfill the law? Did he fulfill the prophet? Oh, I don't think anybody on earth here will tell us that Jesus Christ didn't fulfill it. He did fulfill it. And if he fulfilled it, then it is he told us that say or fulfill it there, then it can't be done away. He said it. Or fulfill it there.
I just say a condition.
Yes, if he fulfills it, then it can be done away.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
you
I know
say that Old
Mhm.
Testament is not in force again, it is true, because Jesus said that if he fulfill it, then it can be done again. And exactly what he said.
Question be say of fulfilling ya. Ubetimi akyerɛ baby or Bible mu akyerɛ sɛ the oka sɛ of fulfilling no or why ana oyɛ.
Well, okay. There are several parts. You are kind of kumpo. You
Okay.
quoted Luke chapter 24, verse number 44.
Luke 24 verse 44.
You quoted that passage, yes. But I'm looking for other passages for you to see.
Okay. And yeah, whilst I will hear others, my main kind we and share.
Kind.
I say, and he said unto them, these are the words which I speak unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me.
So you see, Jesus Christ made it clear. Said, actually, Nyoma okan ho wadi for emra no mu. I was saying obem. And truly speaking, and let me show you this passage. Romans chapter 10.
Romans chapter 10.
Yes. Verse number 4.
Romans chapter 10, verse number 4.
Yes.
And tempa me do Romans 10, verse 4. Yeah. Yeah, also a kind in ye. For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believes.
Let me be quick to say this. Those who have been saying that we are under grace and under grace will tell you that Jesus Christ is the end of the law. So yes, no, he's not. You see, in a common English verbiage, ender, it means that the last. The last in the after that in any hobby. That's not what he's saying. The better English context, a modern English, say, for Christ is the goal of the law.
I say in English, I was hard to say, the end of this project is to do A, B, C. It means the goal of the project.
Yes. Exactly. You see, but I mean, there are people who go around them. I had a friend like that who go around thinking that there is no law, there is no commandment. Some of the passages are more type about his point. The passage here is not that Christ is the end as only chat emratu. No, that's not the idea. The idea is that Christ is the goal, and many now pointed to Jesus Christ for him to fulfill it. So, then his purpose of coming on earth is of no, it has no meaning.
Yeah,
it has no meaning. So
the reason
is the goal. Christ is the goal of the law. It's just point onto Jesus Christ. He came to make a say Jesus Christ came to lead the law. He came to leave it black and white for us to see how it looked like. And that's what Jesus Christ did. Jesus fulfilled the law and he fulfilled it to the uttermost. And if he fulfilled it to the uttermost, then there is a need that it can go up. But look at verse number 19. Maybe we can draw some few conclusions. Matthew 5. No?
Matthew 5, verse 19.
So the entire person kind verse 19 say in most cases, even among us, sometimes Matthew 5, verse number 17. Sometimes we skew it a bit. We always point to that, Jesus was talking about the prophecies that were written about him.
Yes.
So what I mean, let's be also
question back on free buy.
Good. Let's be also be fair to ourselves that sometimes some among us from our pulpit have thought that Matthew 17, Jesus meant the prophecies concerning him. And Matthew 17, verse 19. Verse 19. Yes, verse 19 is not changing the context. He's not changing as some cry. Yes, you can. He's saying the same thing Jesus was saying in verse 17 and 2 as well, and verse 19. But listen to the verse number 19.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these commandments.
So the commandment he's talking about is the one he has spoken about in verse 18. So your Bible now can say, because therefore, please don't jump. Don't jump. Don't read the Bible and see therefore and not see what is therefore. The therefore is up. Go up and understand what he's talking about.
What it is therefore, that's a bar.
So
what it is therefore.
What it is therefore, fine. But I said, when they say, we are branching, they say, they are moving about most on them bars. But my point in this, you see, so therefore in the Bible, or King James epic, wherefore, go up and go and see what he's talking about. So the conversation started in verse number 17, verse number 18, and now in verse number 19, he's telling us that whosoever will break one of these, the list of it. But let me also comment on the word break. The sad thing is that King James didn't help us much.
Okay.
See, someone who break commandments will not enter the kingdom of heaven to be even the least.
True.
So to the mechi asia. Yes. You might be thinking that, well, maybe okay, no, that's not what Jesus is saying. My mom, look at the baby. How can no, not the go to call how do I put it? Another version. Look at versions like I think maybe English Standard Version. That might bring the text out. English Standard Version. ESV. There's ESV there.
Okay, ESV.
ESV. Good. ESV. Look at how ESV translated.
Therefore, whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and
relaxes meant this is what they mean. Relaxes means that you see, I'm running the doors. But what Becca said, we here change we. Though you so but we here change we no. You are least in the kingdom.
As a ugugum.
Yes, we here change we. Like you are putting preference on the other.
Yeah.
Oh, we sometimes do it even in the church. Sometimes we are sorry or say, oh, lots of and say your dream pempen so here ye oh yes. That is a problem. Don't relax anything. Now go on can't and say lots of who here a chain young tour. On can't and say and Bible here chain young tour. On can't and say Bible church on can't answer everything has to be done.
Where the work of our by my main came to say because of waiting, you know, a man sometimes Matilda said, Obitimika say, oh, and then the airport church, no, the airport say, you got to Germany, I follow Sapania upon.
Yeah, so we think that it be a being here change. So you don't realize Jesus' point in Matthew 19, Matthew 5, verse number 19, he said, the obe relaxing and random be say, way as to change, way to change. In the kingdom, he's considered the least.
Okay.
He's considered the least. Over why he near him, though you are believe who didn't answer there, but what will be changed? The son out here there, you are in the least, you are least in the kingdom. You are not great, you are least in the kingdom. Who's he near him? Now your church will confess answers no ibunesa. So to sum it up, that is exactly what Matthew chapter 5, verse number 70. But I think that it will be good to show again the podcast app on the Cinemacano.
Yes,
there's a lot of there's a lot of
Abuama yes. And say afei and I join ya ye dim komo na kwachi na ente bia ye dim komo ni na ebesi komo ye what is the meaning of Matthew 5 verse 17. Now, ebia opedi more information on this. We obi ne bisa or send a question through WhatsApp. Any a jebre say you didn't come on Bible answers. Also, to me send a question no about. But yeah, brother Jonathan, our podcaster or on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play Music, on other podcaster available platforms available. Ubenya Spotify there na me dey air channel. Oko honoma now search Bible Radio. Yeah,
you just search now. So you just search Bible Radio, then possibly add my name. I don't know why, but add my name to it. Bible Radio space and add my name to it. It will show up.
And come log in and come follow. Why? Me also to me now log in, but my follow on my phone no something. No worry. Why?
Don't worry, I know.
Enti Oklahoma obenya other lessons too. Explanation John 3:16, born again, what does it mean? The issue of head covering, what must I do to be saved? Hebrew cosmogony, one of my favorite. Faith is essential but not adequate. And now in command this is here. What does Matthew 5:17 teach? Oklahoma ube to me 80. So many topics now are discussing Oklahoma. Enti mestre say obejebre no ahwe. Bible Radio by Jonathan Mensah Bonsu. A very, very good podcast. And after so Spotify on Okwa search Chariot TV, Albania Chariot TV on Spotify. In 2% any of your lessons, no your digital lectureships are in audio format. Okwa hono so a ubenya ewo ho. Yemre no eko aha and then ye dey common nyina ebesi. Bible answers. If you have Bible questions, the Bible has answers for you. Question now one Fabra na engineer Bible so eyiwa no. Brother Jonathan dey as pass oboa e meet topic ase.
That's
Anyone so that kind of comment section, I mean, quickly, let's go through that now. Yeah, found commodities. Yeah, Isaac Meza, I think he entered first. Or say watching live. Yeah, Patrick K. Abin so ever joining now. They be Obama for this almost so me Jumedian. Also, bet you are Amana Akosopa. Yeah, Solomon Enchi. Or say good work, keep it up. God bless you for joining us. Yeah, Yvonne. AJ, I say good afternoon. I'm watching live. Thank you so much. Malcolm Vincent say watching live from Edinburgh, Texas. God bless you all. That question, yes, remember we need to comment if you say yes, you have from Texas. Maybe why? Jonathan, your remember. Isaac Tete said watching you live from Insaro Church of Christ. Yeah, Insaro Church of Christ for you. Greetings. Okay, greetings to you all. Yeah, bro. Asante Watson say. I greet you, brothers. I'm enjoying the interpretations and discussion. God bless you. We really appreciate you joining us. Last comment, Brad Bismarck, or say, and also where he said it is finished. Maybe in the next lesson, no, you better bre na ye di eno nkomo say Yesu Christ say it is finished. I don't know na as it and say, and I bet me comment on that quickly. Nanka. What you two me pacho.
Yeah, his point is true. The apostle Chen said, see, on the cross, when Jesus said it is finished, he meant that exactly what I mean, exactly what we are talking about. So it's true. That text, I think it's in John 19. Yeah, John 19, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah.
In John 19.
It is finished.
Yes, yeah. It is finished. When Jesus said it is finished, that phrase meant that he has brought everything that he came to accomplish to its completion or their baby, and he did it completely as it is true. It's in line with what we are pointing out clearly.
Yeah. So meaning say show screen so there you kind of my bomb abanti say that screen is one. Yes.
Is it John 19?
Yes, John 19.
Yes, exactly. John 19, verse number 20.
After this, Jesus knowing that, yes. So when Jesus had received Saul, he said, "It is finished."
Yeah, exactly.
Sanity. Yeah, that's a pa. Onyankopon onsha. Yenya Enoch so they are also watching from Afrancho, Kumasi phone na ye chia.
Afrancho, anya Afrancho. Afrancho de, masa why French ni ana.
So because you say nche bia meko US into me practice na. Okay, yeah, was to say over kind of home. Me Eddie Derek down so me Jonathan Mensah Bonsu near the Jimmy Barmon chain. Matthew 5, verse number 17. And no home come on any D. Therefore, you know, be share na ya toa and come on so. Ya could be.